Hello, and this is me making a recording about the proper way to punctuate a quote when you're using one in writing. And a lot of times, students just simply don't know the right way to incorporate a quote into the writing. And that is why I started with the Bible character essay, because incorporating a scripture is actually one of the easiest ways to incorporate a quote. So you can see behind me here, I have a very famous Bible verse. It is John 11:35, Jesus wept. And so sometimes what we're tempted to do is, and whether we find it from scripture or from Benjamin Franklin, it doesn't really matter. We just want to put it in our paper. And so we will do this to it. Okay. And we think that that is good enough. Now, it is great that you put quotation marks around it because that shows that you've copied these words directly from another source. And this inside the quotation marks, again, doesn't have to just be a Bible verse. It could be a quote from a famous person. It could simply be a sentence or two from a source in a research paper, data, statistics, things like that. So you put it in quotation marks, which is correct to alert the reader that they're copied word for word. But this is what we call a floating quote. This quote does not have, I like to call it an engine or a caboose. All quotes need to be surrounded on, or not surrounded, but on one side or the other, your words to either introduce the quote or follow up the quote. So this quote would be easily made better by saying, John 11, I'm going to run out of room, 35. I ran out of room. John 11:35 says, comma. Okay. Now in scripture, you can use the word says. You can say John 11:35 states. John 11:35 reads. All right. There's all sorts of actually better words than says. But what I want to show you is that these words are my words introducing the quote. In this case, a scripture. So I need to tell you the reference. And then I have a comma that separates what was said from me, from my words, okay? And then the period at the end of the sentence goes inside the quotation marks, okay? So this would be the format you would copy for any type of quotation you're using when you want to put your words at the beginning. So it works the same for saying, I need an idea. How about NASA shared 10 of 11 days it rained. Okay, same concept, all right? This isn't scripture, but this would just be, let's say we read an article and exactly what it says was 10 of 11 days it rained. I have to introduce it, comma separating the introduction from the actual quote, and then the period goes at the end of the sentence. Okay, so this is way one, in which you can use the front end, you can call it front loading, the intro, whatever you want to call it. The other way to do this is to put the reference in the back. But let me show you the proper punctuation for that, okay? So here we've still got Jesus wept, but now this isn't the end of a sentence anymore, okay? So we have Jesus wept. Again, I'm going to run out of room. John 11:35 reads. Okay, now what was said from our words is still separated by a comma inside the quotation marks. And our period goes, again, all the way at the end of the sentence. So another way that could look would be girls are brilliant. Stated Mrs. Pennell. All right, so say you're doing an article on the brilliance of girls, all right? Here you've got her words, a comma separating her words from your words, and then you tell us who said it, stated Mrs. Pennell. Now you might say stated Mrs. Pennell, you know, in the article or in the interview, however you put it. But the point being, the quote can't float alone by itself. It has to have your words at the beginning or your words at the end. Now, there's one other way. These are the two easiest ways, okay? And we're going to be using quotes probably for the rest of our papers. I'm going to require evidence, all right? And that in this Bible character essay, what you've got now is evidence. Last one, all right? I'm going to totally make this up. Dogs are smart, comma, stated the Petco manager. Now watch this. But not as unpredictable as cats. Whew. All right, now this is a really, this is the most challenging way, because notice I put my own words in the middle here, and the quote is on both sides. It's totally doable, all right? I'm showing you this way just because sometimes when we end up with lots and lots of quotes, it can get really laborious to read. John 11:35 reads blah, 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 blah. John 11:38 reads blah, 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 blah. And so you have to begin, just like mixing up sentence beginnings, you have to mix up style. So if notice though, the rules still apply. What was said, the direct quote, dogs are smart, is separated by a comma both times from the facts that need to tell you who's saying the quote. The period goes inside the quotation marks at the very end. I hope this helps you do your worksheet. For sure, the beauty of these videos is that if this is new to you, and as doing your worksheet, you need to revisit this video, you certainly can. And good luck.